This is Common Communication Challenges in Remote Teams and How to Solve Them 2025 Guide. Running a remote team sounds amazing on paper. You get flexibility, access to global talent, and the ability to scale without paying for expensive office space. On the surface, it feels like the future of work, and it is, but if you've been in the trenches, you know the biggest challenge isn't the actual work itself, it's communication. Messages get lost, time zones clash, people misread each other's tone, and suddenly what could have been a quick update spirals into a missed deadline, a frustrated team, and maybe even a lost client. That's why in this video, we're going to break down the most common communication challenges remote teams face in 2025, and more importantly, how to fix them. By the end, you'll walk away with practical solutions you can start using right away. I'm Erin from Paired, and if you've ever felt like your remote team isn't quite clicking, stick with me, you're not alone, and the fixes are simpler than you think. Challenge 1, time zone confusion. One of the biggest headaches for remote teams is juggling time zones. Let's say you're based in San Francisco, your designer is in London, your developer is in Manila. Suddenly, what feels like a simple meeting feels impossible to schedule. Someone is always up too early, someone else is staying up too late, and eventually people stop syncing all together. Why does this matter? Because real-time communication is important, but forcing everyone into the same 9 to 5 doesn't work when your team is spread across the globe. The solution, instead of fighting time zones, work with them. Set overlap hours, maybe 2 to 3 hours per day when everyone is online together. That's your golden window for meetings and collaboration. Outside of that, encourage asynchronous work. Use tools like Google Calendar's World Clock, Clockify, or even Slack's built-in time zone feature to check before pinging someone. And set a team rule. If it's outside overlap hours, default to async. That way, no one feels pressured to be online at midnight. Pro tip, record meetings and share key notes afterwards. That way, no one feels left out if they can't make it. Challenge 2, too many tools, too little clarity. Here's a problem I see all the time, tool overload. A team starts with Slack, then they add Trello, then someone suggests Notion, plus Zoom, plus email, plus WhatsApp. Before you know it, you've got 6 different channels and no one knows where to check for updates. The result is missed deadlines, repeated work, and endless, hey, did you see that message? Solution is simplify your stack. Pick one tool for each purpose, one for chat like Slack or Microsoft Teams, one for project management like Asana or Monday.com, and one for file storage like Google Drive or Dropbox, and that's it. Then set ground rules. For example, all project updates got in Asana. Quick questions go in Slack. Final docs live in Google Drive. Once everyone knows where to look, communication goes from chaotic to clear. Pro tip is use one tool that integrates many platforms at once. This will make everything much easier to handle. Challenge number 3, miscommunication in writing. When most of your communication happens in writing, Slack messages, emails, Notion comments, tone gets lost. A simple okay can come across as dismissive. A delayed reply can feel like someone's ignoring you. This happens because written words don't carry tone, body language, or facial expressions, and over time, those little misunderstandings build tension. The solution is to mix it up. Use Slack for short updates, Zoom or Loom videos for feedback, and always add context to your messages. Instead of got it, say, got it, I'll finish this by Friday. Also, use emojis or reactions strategically. A thumbs up emoji can soften a message, while a grinning emoji can show friendliness. Just don't overdo it. Pro tip is to encourage team members to ask for clarification instead of assuming. A simple, just to confirm you mean, can prevent major missteps. Challenge 4, language and cultural barriers. One of the biggest benefits of remote work is hiring overseas, but it also introduces language and cultural gaps. For example, in some cultures, employees hesitate to say no directly even if they can't meet a deadline. In others, being very direct is normal, but it might come across as rude to someone else. Solution, start by creating a culture of clarity. Avoid slang and jargon that might confuse people. Instead of let's circle back, say let's talk about this again on Thursday. Check for understanding instead of asking. Does that make sense? Try, can you summarize the next step in your own words? And here's where Paired makes a difference. When you hire vetted overseas talent through Paired, you're not just hiring skills. You're hiring people who are already trained to work across cultural lines. That way you spend less less time untangling misunderstandings and more time focusing on results. Challenge 5, silence that leads to isolation. Here's a sneaky one, silence. In an office, if someone's quiet, you see they're focused. Remotely, silence can feel like disengagement. This matters because isolation is one of the top reasons employees burn out or quit remote jobs. They just don't feel seen. So the solution is to build in regular touch points. Short daily check-ins, weekly one-on-ones, and casual hangouts make a big difference. These don't have to be long. Even a 10-minute coffee chat helps people feel connected. And make sure you're asking about more than work. A quick "how's your week going" shows you care. Challenge 6, overlapping responsibilities. Another communication killer is unclear roles. Remote teams often grow fast, and suddenly you've got 3 people all assuming someone else is handling a task. Cue the blame game. Solution, write it down. Even if it feels obvious, document who owns what. Use a simple tool like Notion or Google Docs. For example, Sarah owns marketing campaigns, David owns customer onboarding, Priya owns design. Clear ownership reduces friction and makes accountability easy. Pro tip, use the RACI framework. Responsible, accountable, consulted, informed. It's fancy sounding, but it's basically a checklist for who's doing what and who needs to know about it. Challenge 7, information getting lost. Remote teams produce endless information. Slack threads, Zoom calls, docs everywhere. Without structure, new hires get lost, projects stall, and knowledge disappears. Solution, create a single source of truth. This could be Notion, Confluence, or even a well-organized Google Drive. The key is consistency. Every decision, every resource lives in one place. Onboarding becomes easier, projects move faster, and no one wastes hours digging through old Slack messages. Challenge 8, different work styles. In remote teams, you'll often have night owls working with early birds, introverts collaborating with extroverts, and detail-oriented people with big pictured thinkers. These differences are strengths, but only if managed well. Solution, talk openly about work styles. Share when you're most productive, how you like to receive feedback, and what communication works best for you. Tools like user manuals, one-page docs where each person explains their style can be a game changer. Challenge 9, lack of feedback. Without regular feedback, remote employees can feel invisible. They don't know if they're doing well or if they're falling short. Solution, schedule feedback into your calendar. Even a quick weekly what went well, what could be better check-in makes a huge difference. Tools like 15.5 or Lattice can also help automate performance feedback. Challenge 10, overcommunication and burnout. Here's the flip side. Some remote teams swing too far the other way. Endless meetings, constant pings, and no boundaries. Before long, people will feel like they're always on. Solution, protect focus time. Set no meeting blocks. Encourage async updates, and more importantly, as a founder, lead by example. If you're messaging at midnight, your team feels pressure to do the same, pulling it all together. So let's recap. The top communication challenges in remote teams are time zones, too many tools, miscommunication in writing, cultural barriers, silence and isolation, overlapping responsibilities, lost information, different work styles, lack of feedback, overcommunication. Each of these is fixable. The key is being intentional. Communication doesn't just happen, you design it. And you don't have to figure it all out on your own. That's why Paired exists. With Paired, you don't just get candidates, you get a process that's designed just for your company. So there you have it, the most common communication challenges in remote teams and how to solve them. Remember, communication isn't just about tools or meetings, it's about trust. When you set clear expectations, simplify your systems, and stay connected, your remote team doesn't just function, it thrives. If you want to explore how to build a remote team with less stress, check out the link in the description. This is Erin from Paired. Thanks so much for watching, and I love to hear from you. What's been your biggest communication challenge in a remote team? Drop it in the comments and let's swap ideas.